Well, good morning, Beaumont. Glad to have you with us today. Here's the problem. Donald Trump was elected by over 85 million people, real votes, not like Cammie, who got about 30 million real votes and about 35 million fake ones. So Donald Trump, as the chief executive, is the only person in the entire United States that was elected by the whole of the United States. And what that actually means is he didn't just win the Electoral College in a landslide, he won the popular vote in a landslide. And of course, all of these Democrats are out there talking about Donald Trump destroying democracy, yet when democracy worked, they seem to not like it very much. Well, if federal judges at any level can prevent Donald Trump from exercising his constitutional powers, ladies and gentlemen, we have a real problem because, see, these judges weren't democratically elected by anyone. Most of them were appointed by a single person. So one wonders if even well-informed and well-meaning Americans understand how deep these problems run. In short, if the judges have that authority, then there's no reason for us to vote. Nor do we have any reason to pay any attention to public affairs. Our republic is already mostly subsumed by deep state tyranny, but it would degenerate into a total farce. I mean, why would we vote when these elected judges that are so smart would just make these decisions for everyone? What would you call a political system that was run by a judge or even multiple judges? I guess you would call it communism. Anyway, fortunately, Elon Musk, who happens to own Platform X, and that is what has turned the entire world, my friends, around. And he is now the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, the DOGE. And they have completed a successful rearguard action where a federal appeals court temporarily smacked down this overbearing judge. Last week, according to the Harvard Crimson, federal judge Theodore Chong of Harvard's University Board of Overseers, most notably the fact that highlights the incestuous relationship in the America's ruling class, they ruled that Musk was likely acting in an unconstitutional manner when he spearheaded Trump's initiative to shut down the United States Agency for International Development. That's known as USAID. And of course, what you know now is that USAID didn't aid anyone in the U.S. On the other hand, for a handful of homosexuals with really screwed up minds, it was aiding a lot of things around the world that no one voted for or wanted. Well, Tuesday on X, independent journalist Nick Sorter posted a screenshot of the appeals court's decision to overturn Chong. On the defendant's motion for an administrative stay, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit wrote, "The court orders the district's court preliminary injunction dated March 18th, 2025, and clarified by its order dated March 20th, 25, that order be stayed and is hereby stayed until the close of business today on March 27th. Meanwhile, Shorter noted an expanded ruling would come later this week. The defendants in this case are also the appellants, referring to Musk and the Doge. In short, while a 2-day stay in anticipation is quite possible, while a 2-day stay anticipation of a possible expanded ruling hardly qualifies as a permanent victory, it does constitute an important step in the right direction. I think we'd all agree USAID must never again return in its prior form. Right now it's under the State Department, and Marco Rubio appears to have that well in hand. They've gotten rid of most of the people and quit spending your money on this ridiculous garbage. Robert F. Kennedy, who happens to be one of my favorite people right now, over at Health and Human Services, he said USAID was simply sinister, and for good reason. Moreover, in a broader sense, Tuesday's temporary stay slowed the momentum of the judicial coup against Donald John Trump, the greatest president in the history of the United States. Earlier this month, U.S. District Court James Boasberg, who is also the head of a secret judicial society filled with anti-Trumpers, including Chief Justice Roberts, who, by the way, Chief Justice Roberts, now that we know he's part of this group, should step down because obviously he can't be an impartial judge if he's a member of this secret society. Meanwhile, they've usurped presidential authority by presuming to order the return of deportation flights filled with illegal alien murderous gang members. Of course, we want the illegal aliens deported, and we want USAID shuttered, do we not? The real issue involves something much deeper than what we like, though. After all the courtroom wrangling and all the orders and the appeals, the fact remains we voted to get rid of the illegal aliens in America. We voted to stop crime in America. We don't want our little 12-year-old girls being raped and murdered underneath a bridge in Houston somewhere. Donald Trump pledged that he would get rid of these people. He pledged he would take the deep state out and restore this republic to the American people. So just as the president can neither diminish Congress's authority or the Constitution under the order the Supreme Court rules as he prefers, neither can those branches infringe upon his rights as the president, as the CEO, commander-in-chief of America. The Constitution has specific remedies for these extreme cases of abuse, and the only abuse we're seeing here is coming from these ridiculous courts and these pusillanimous little feckless judges that think that they can decide for you whether you should have these murderous criminals and rapers walking among you. A free and sovereign people who elect their president cannot and will not accept this kind of behavior from these judges. Now for our newest sponsor, Craziness Creations. Craziness Creations, and you can find that at crazinesscreations.etsy.com. crazinesscreations.etsy.com, or you can just search in any browser for Craziness Creations. These are my friends Brian and Christina, and they are designers, and they've got some incredible coffee mugs and t-shirts, including the new Gulf of America t-shirts and Gulf of America coffee mugs. Some great pro-Trump stuff. These guys moved here from New York City because I told them Texas was the place to be. So I'm asking all of you to support their business. crazinesscreations.etsy.com. Just go there and get whatever you want. Some of the prices on this stuff are amazing. In fact, right now I saw the Gulf of America shirt on sale for like $9. So get yours today. crazinesscreations.etsy.com. And now this, criminal representative Daniel Goldman, criminal New York, bizarrely referred to the FBI task force on Tesla terrorism as lawfare, and he's calling it political weaponization of the Department of Justice. Goldman's statement is especially curious given the Democrats' campaign of lawfare and weaponization against Donald Trump. Keep in mind, when they were going after Donald Trump, they were making up crimes and creating things that were not there. But in this case, we have a number of these leftist Democrats that are mostly being paid by George Soros and the ilk, but they're going out and destroying people's livelihoods. I'd like to remind you that Tesla is the number 5 car company in the United States, and they employ hundreds of thousands of people and pay them quite well. But they're out there trying to destroy this company, this American car company, and destroy the jobs of those people, some of whom voted Democrat, to be sure, and probably in another time, all of them would have voted Democrat. But this is ridiculous that Dan Goldman would do this, and I think somebody needs to investigate Dan Goldman there, maybe. The FBI has created this task force to use law enforcement to crack down on Musk's adversaries. Where are the Republicans so opposed to lawfare, the congressman added. Once again, these are people committing actual crimes, destroying personal property, terrorizing people for simply buying the car that they liked. And by the way, wasn't Elon Musk a hero for creating these electric cars? Isn't that why they became the best-selling electric car on the planet? Was because these people didn't want gas-guzzling polluters out there? And yet now they're getting rid of their Teslas and buying gas-guzzling vehicles. Anyway, you'd think they'd be happy. I mean, could I just remind you that it was Elon Musk with SpaceX that brought back our astronauts because no one else could do it? Congressman's lawfare and political weaponization of the Department of Injustice claims are very peculiar. Last week, Paul, Weiss, Rifkin, Wharton, and Garrison LLP, a law firm formerly associated with Mark Pomerantz, who led a campaign to prosecute Donald Trump, reached a $40 million settlement with the president. That's right. This law firm had to write a check to Donald Trump for $40 million for what they did to him. Pomerantz, known as the architect of the major component of Democrats' lawfare strategy in an effort to use and abuse the courts in both civil and criminal litigation against Donald Trump, simply to destroy his wealth, his stature, and hopefully put him in prison where they could then just have him killed. So keep that in mind. Moreover, the assassination attempts that they have made against Donald Trump, these came after Representative Benny Thompson, a criminal of Missouri, introduced legislation to strip Donald Trump of his Secret Service detail. Tucker Carlson referred to that as a death threat. So Tesla's been under attack ever since Elon Musk showed up to support Donald Trump. And last week, firefighters had to extinguish a blaze at a Tesla charging station in Fargo, North Dakota, and they believe it was intentionally set. They're still looking. Here's the point, though. There's a lot of people out there that are driving their Tesla cars, and they need to be able to go to a charging station and get a charge. What are these people doing? Another arson attack involved suspects hurling Molotov cocktails at the Tesla Collision Center in Las Vegas, resulting in numerous Teslas being completely engulfed in flames. Of course, the person that did that was actually a guy pretending to be a girl. So a week before that, another guy pretending to be a girl doused a Tesla EV with gasoline and set it on fire in Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood. Police say that a suspect poured gasoline on the Tesla Model S and then lit it on fire before running away. Of course, a lot of these people didn't realize that these Teslas have cameras. That's right. We've got them on video. So, and in Colorado, we had another guy who was pretending to be a woman. And she, and his accomplice attempted to bomb a Tesla dealership there. So another man pretending to be a woman was recently caught on camera vandalizing a newly constructed Tesla dealership in Chicago. So Tesla owners across the country have been sharing video footage of their vehicles getting keyed or vandalized in some way. And of course, this is the best part. They've already caught 3 of these people. And when they are found guilty, which they will be found guilty because obviously the video tells the whole story, they're going to go away. Most of them are going to go away for between 10 and 20 years. But the FBI has been investigating this increase in violent activity toward Tesla and their owners. Did you see the video where the guy chased down a female who was driving a Tesla and then began to abuse her right on the road? This is nothing less than domestic terrorism. It is not lawfare, and this is a case where the FBI is actually being used to enforce the law, so I'm kind of excited about it myself.